CMLL ushers in a new era. And we have TNA Sacrifice, the newest premium live event of TNA coming this week in the world of professional wrestling. Welcome back to the Wrestling is Bullshit podcast. We have quite a bit to talk about in what was a chill week. Hopefully, you've come to understand that there's no such thing as a chill week in the world of wrestling. We always have quite a bit to go over week in and week out on this podcast. Let's start with CMLL. As we have recently seen, Hechicero win the CMLL World Heavyweight Championship by defeating Claudio Castagnoli. And to me, what's been happening with CMLL is very interesting to say the least. CMLL and AEW have started doing what's called dual contracts. These contracts make this wrestler a part of the CMLL roster and a part of the AEW roster. And this is very interesting, right? Because Mexico, comparatively speaking, geographically to the United States, is not very far. You can have a luchador appear on AEW Dynamite and then go ahead and appear on Super Viernes in Arena Mexico on Friday, 2 days later. Can you do this with Japan? No. That is why you haven't seen something like a dual contract exist between New Japan and AEW. I'm sure the day will come, but it's much easier and it's much better to do this with CMLL, right? Because now, not only are you amplifying and creating more levels to the Lucha Libre presence on the AEW product, but you're also giving these luchadors from CMLL something bigger to strive towards, right? You don't have to leave CMLL to be a part of AEW now. You can do both, and you could get paid more to do both. And only the best of the best are going to be able to do so. Some of the wrestlers or luchadors, I should say, that we've seen able to obtain this dual contract between CMLL and AEW are the new CMLL World Heavyweight Champion Hechicero, Mystico, Máscara Dorada, and Persephone. Okay, this is a new era for CMLL. An era where they can have their cake and eat it too. An era where they can get full representation on the AEW product while not having to say goodbye to some of these luchador stars of CMLL. Very excited to see how this goes. We also have the opportunity to showcase some of the, not all, but some of these championships that CMLL has in AEW. I'm sure Hechicero is going to be carrying around that CMLL World Heavyweight Championship. You know, Mystico has already fought for a CMLL title on AEW programming against MJF last year, just a couple months ago. It's good to see a bridge being built at such a high level between the world of CMLL and the world of AEW. It's so good for both sides. And I'm excited to see Hechicero, right? I'm excited to see the new CMLL World Heavyweight Champion and what his title reign has in store for not only CMLL, but for AEW as well. This is a new era for CMLL, and I think it's a great move, right? We have AAA Lucha Libre, right? The other big company of Lucha Libre in Mexico or pro wrestling in Mexico. There's two. There's AAA, there's CMLL. AAA was recently purchased by WWE. I can easily say it is the most enjoyable WWE product for me personally right now. And I'm sure a lot of you agree with me. AAA has been fun under WWE. It's had guys like Penta and Rey Fenix come back to the company. Penta holding the Intercontinental Championship in a AAA ring, which is crazy. New beginnings for AAA, but I think a lot of people are overlooking this concept of dual contracts that are going to happen between CMLL and AEW, which is going to help CMLL retain their stars and get CMLL a lot of eyes through AEW programming, all while keeping the spirit of Lucha Libre alive on AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision, right? Good stuff here. Good stuff. There are other title changes, I should say, that we have to talk about. We will also get to some title matches, of course, as we do so well on the Wrestling is Bullshit podcast. But let's go over all the other titles that changed hands this past week in the world of professional wrestling, starting with Ren Sinclair winning the Women's Speed Championship on NXT this past week. Okay, not a title change, but a huge match of significance and a really good time. We saw Darby Allin defeat Gabe Kidd in a coffin match on AEW Dynamite. A lot of fun, man. Darby Allin has been pedal to the metal, and Gabe Kidd is looking to match that energy. I'd say he's done a pretty good job doing that, and they have a banger coffin match. I'm sure this will continue into Darby Allin versus David Finlay and Clark Connors. Once again, Darby Allin and Clark Connors have already had a match, but Darby Allin has his hands full with the Dogs, and this is going to be fun. All of these guys are down to do some entertaining stuff in a wrestling ring and know how to build a nice story along with that. So hopefully this isn't the end between Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd. I'm sure they'll have one more humongous match, but this one was a fun match on Dynamite nonetheless. And last but not least, when it comes to the results in this past week, we had R-Truth and Damian Priest win the WWE Tag Team titles on SmackDown. What a solid win for R-Truth and Damian Priest. This isn't really, how do I say this? This is good fun. Wrestling is good fun. R-Truth and Damian Priest winning the tag titles together on SmackDown. This is good fun. And I'm excited to see how much fun we have with this title reign. I think that, it doesn't need to be anything nuts. Damian Priest was featured heavily against Aleister Black for months. Not really much for him to do right now. So they partner him with R-Truth, and him and R-Truth win the WWE Tag Team titles, which is fun. Speaking of SmackDown, which has been a 3-hour show since early January of 2026, will be returning to a 2-hour format this June. And I'm happy to see this. I don't know if this is something they plan to do. I don't know if WWE plans to make SmackDown 3 hours in the first half of the year, then to convert it back to 2 hours in the second half. I doubt it. But ultimately, it's good to see WWE make a questionable call in making SmackDown 3 hours and then have the humility and the brains to go ahead and acknowledge, okay, the 3-hour thing isn't a good thing. I told you so. And then go ahead and switch SmackDown back to a 2-hour format. You got to applaud a company or an entity that is willing to acknowledge their mistakes and revert back to something that was a better fit. And that's what we're seeing here, hopefully. SmackDown is much better as a 2-hour show than a 3-hour show. I think 3-hour weekly shows when it comes to pro wrestling is a no-go for me. All right? If you want to have a 3-hour special every now and then as a special thing and go ahead and make a nice super card for a 3-hour weekly show every once in a while, that's fine. But 3 hours week in and week out, oh, brother. I mean, we did it with Raw for years. SmackDown has been 3 hours in the past. I think the 2-hour show is just much more enjoyable to me. Less is more, in my personal opinion. Okay? Less is more week in and week out. All right. I think it's time to get into the watch list. Okay? We've had several title changes. We're seeing a lot of good stuff all over the planet of professional wrestling. So now let's go ahead and look forward to what we have in terms of matches of significance this week. Let's go ahead and start with Monday Night Raw, where we will see Penta defend the Intercontinental Championship against former champion Dominic Mysterio. Always a good time to see Penta versus Dominic Mysterio. I feel like that is the mid-card match of Monday Night Raw, and I'm down to see it again. I know we've seen it before. Here we're going to see it again on Raw this week, and I'm excited for it. How can I not be? And then we jump over to Wednesday, AEW Dynamite. We will see Tekla defend the AEW Women's World Championship against Mina Shirakawa. Should be a fun match. Mina Shirakawa has done a consistently fantastic job in terms of building herself over the past couple of years, and Tekla has just hit the ground running in AEW and is the current reigning and defending AEW Women's World Champion. And then on Friday night on SmackDown, all right, we have 3 shows on Friday night, and we'll start with SmackDown. We have a very exciting title match happening on SmackDown this week, as we will see Julia defend the Women's United States Championship against Tiffany Stratton. And I got to say, I'm looking at my wrist right now. I'm looking at my watch, and I think it's Tiffy time. All right. Clearly, WWE doesn't know how to book Julia. And it's very disappointing, to say the least, right? They're trying their best. Okay. They are trying their best. I was very happy with WWE when they went ahead and signed Julia, because it's unlike WWE to sign a superstar like Julia. But they went ahead, they took a leap of faith, they signed Julia. But now that all the dust has settled, it is very abundantly clear that creative does not know how to use Julia very well. Okay, so it looks like it's time for Tiffany Stratton to be our new Women's United States champion. Somebody that I know will do a great job with that championship, and somebody that I know that WWE knows how to book well. Okay, the United States Championship for the women did good under Chelsea Green, and that's about it. They didn't know what to do with Zelina Vega, which was crazy. How do you not know how to book Zelina Vega? She's awesome. And I'm a little more understanding with the fact that they don't know how to book Julia. And with that being said, yeah, like go ahead and put the Women's United States Championship on Tiffany Stratton. Somebody you're a little more comfortable with creatively, and somebody that you, and when I say you, I mean WWE creative, what you know how to book well. Okay, I'm very excited to see Tiffany Stratton hold this Women's United States Championship, and I hope that that's going to be the case come Friday night. I think we can run back Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair at some point this year for the Women's United States Championship. And we could see Charlotte get the win against Tiffany Stratton at some point this year for the Women's United States Championship. You want to make this title mean something the way the Women's Intercontinental Championship means something? Go ahead and do Tiffy versus Charlotte for the women's U.S. belt. I think that's fantastic. Looks like they're going that way. Hopefully they are. And I'm all for it, okay? I'm all for it. And if Julia is to retain the women's U.S. title, I just hope they figure something out, because I don't see it. I don't see them knowing how to book her, unfortunately. Like, this is concerning to me. I almost think WWE might not be the place for her at this point, which is a shame. Anywho, let's see what else we got this upcoming Friday night. We have TNA Sacrifice, the newest TNA Premium Live event coming to us this Friday night, going head-to-head with SmackDown. I've already talked ad nauseum over the past year, at least at this point, about how I feel about TNA having Premium Live events going head-to-head with SmackDown. They work together. TNA and WWE are in a partnership. So why are their programs, why are their shows going head to head? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, doesn't make any sense at all to me. Kind of a buzzkill for me personally. A lot of times I feel like I can't watch these TNA Premium Live events because they're happening at the same time as SmackDown. At that, we also see WWE put together an interesting card that drives us away from TNA Premium Live events, right? It's not like SmackDown has a chill week when TNA has a Premium Live event. In fact, SmackDown has some of its best matches, some of its best segments when they're going head-to-head with TNA. There's some partnership. Anywho, let's go ahead and look at some of these matches of significance on the TNA Sacrifice card. First, we have Ariana Grace defending the Knockouts World Championship against Dani Luna and Lei Ying Li. Should be a fun triple threat match there. And then we have Leon Slater defending the X Division Championship against Eric Young. Should be freaking awesome. And the match I'm most excited for in TNA Sacrifice, what in my mind will be the TNA feud of 2026. Mike Santana versus Steve Maclin for the TNA World Championship. If you haven't been paying attention, Mike Santana's been fantastic, first and foremost, in 2025 and this year, 2026. And Steve Maclin, Jeremy Maclin was a wide receiver in the NFL, so excuse me there. Steve Maclin has been fantastic for years. Steve Maclin has been a cornerstone on that TNA roster for years. And now he's going ahead and adapting a new heel character to serve as a counterpart for TNA's biggest babyface in Mike Santana. And I can't be more excited for the potential of this feud. This is one of those feuds that this is the MJF versus Hangman of TNA right now. Mike Santana versus Steve Maclin. I can say that pretty confidently, right? This is the Hangman versus MJF. And we're going to see it this Friday night on TNA Sacrifice. I'm very excited to see how they do in their first match against each other, which should be the first step into a bigger program to carry TNA in 2026. Last but not least, man, on Friday night, we also have a collaborative show between Ring of Honor and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. Global Wars Canada. And we have one match of significance announced for this Global Wars card between Ring of Honor and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. And it is Athena defending the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship against Taylor Rising. I'd understand if you didn't have your eyes on this upcoming Friday night. You got SmackDown, you got a big women's U.S. title match on SmackDown. You got TNA Sacrifice. The main event should be one of the biggest main events that TNA has to offer in 2026. And then you have Athena defending the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship over there in Canada, the Great North. Busy week, busy Friday night in the world of wrestling. And we will be here to analyze the entire fallout in the next episode. But before I let you go, we got to do the top 20 champions of wrestling, as you know. All right? To reiterate, the top 20 champions of wrestling is a list that I like to create here on the Wrestling is Bullshit podcast. Okay, this list is meant to highlight champions that are doing their job, highlight champions that are lacing their boots and defending the title and making it mean something. Whether you're Red Velvet or CM Punk, this list is based on work rate. What is this list based on, everyone? Work rate. Okay, this list is based on who is showing up to work and who is optimizing their situation as a champion in the world of wrestling. So let's get freaking started here, man. Number 20, we have the AEW World Tag Team Champions, FTR, who find themselves in between the Young Bucks on one side and Cope and Christian Cage on the other side. This AEW tag team division has been fantastic, and FTR is the crown jewel of that tag team division right now. Number 19, we have the Women's World Champion of WWE, Stephanie Vaquer, who has a huge WrestleMania match against Liv Morgan coming up in the coming weeks and has been doing a great job defending and being the Women's World Champion on Monday Night Raw. Number 18, we have the WWE Women's Champion from SmackDown, Jade Cargill. Somebody who is still getting a lot of reps. Okay, WWE has been completely intentional for years with giving Jade Cargill reps. And I will say, Jade Cargill may not be everything that she was meant to be quite yet, but she is doing a great job, and she does look like $1 million with the WWE Women's Championship on a collision course with Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania in a couple of weeks. Okay, number 17, TNT champion Kyle Fletcher. I don't think I need to explain that one. Kyle Fletcher has been fantastic. The TNT championship has been fantastic. Number 16, the AEW Women's World Champion Tekla, who continues to maximize her situation by defending that title on AEW Dynamite. All right. Tekla is somebody that had a fast rise to the top in AEW, and she is somebody that will be known and will go down as a legend in AEW when it is all said and done. She's doing a great job with that AEW Women's World title right now. Number 15, United States Champion Carmelo Hayes. We waited patiently for Carmelo Hayes to shine on the main roster, and here we are. The first few months of 2026 have been all Carmelo Hayes, and Melo has yet to miss. Number 14, Intercontinental Champion Penta. We've been waiting a good bit for Penta to get the Intercontinental Championship as well. I know I'm not alone in thinking, when Penta first came to WWE, my first thought was he's going to be a great Intercontinental Champion and a great World Heavyweight Champion at some point. And so far, one of those two things has happened. I'm sure the second one will happen soon enough. But yeah, Penta coming in at number 14. Number 13, we have Joe Hendry, the NXT champion. Something about Joe Hendry holding this NXT championship just feels right. Feels like Joe Hendry is the champion that NXT has been waiting to have. The champion that gives the NXT championship a different vibe than Trick Williams has, than Obafemi has, than Ricky Saints has. I think Joe Hendry is gearing up to do something special with this NXT championship, and it's going to make NXT all the better for it. Number 12, Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion Red Velvet, a cornerstone of Ring of Honor programming right now, making that title mean something. That title didn't mean shit until Red Velvet started wearing it and defending it on Ring of Honor programming. Number 11, the Women's Tag Team Champions of WWE, the Irresistible Forces, Nia Jackson, Lash Legend. It just goes down to WWE at this point showing us that they know how to book these women's tag team titles consistently. All right? We saw a slow build between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky to these titles in 2025. And now we're going to see Nia Jackson, Lash Legend, show us what they're made of with complete trust, knowing that WWE knows how to book this division consistently and well. Time to get into the top 10 before I let you go. Number 10 on the top 20 champions of wrestling list is the North American champion of NXT, Miles Bourne. Somebody that has also been built up to be the North American champion of NXT, in this case, quite well, and they took their time, and he's ready to be the face of NXT's mid-card division there. I'm sure he'll be ready to be NXT champion as soon as late 2026, if not early 2027. Why rush? Why rush? He's going to be fantastic with his North American championship. He already has been, and I look forward to Miles Bourne making the North American Championship of NXT as good as the TNT Championship is right now for AEW. I can totally see that being the case after a couple months go by. Number 9 is the TBS champion, Willow Nightingale. Somebody that has had her hands full, was recently the inaugural AEW Women's World Tag Team Champions, one half, of course, and has had the TBS Championship since New Year's Eve of 2025, going into 2026. A couple months now. She's been doing a good job defending this title, and I think she's just getting started. I could see her being, hot take, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's a top 5 champion at some point in this year. We'll see. All right, that's not a guarantee. We'll see, but I wouldn't be surprised. Number 8, the NXT Women's Champion, Jacy Jayne, who continues to hold it down, who continues to hold that championship down. I think about Toxic Attraction, right? The faction that consisted of Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, now known as Priscilla Kelly, and of course, Jacy Jayne. And of course, Mandy Rose was the leader of that faction, right? She was the main attraction of Toxic Attraction. And then we could easily say that Gigi Dolan was second place and Jacy Jayne was the third member of the faction. Now we fast forward to 2026, where Jacy Jayne is the last woman standing, and she has been and continues to be the cornerstone of the NXT Women's Championship in that division. I'm proud of her as a fan. I'm proud of JC Jane, and I'm happy to celebrate JC Jane's success. Let's move on. Number 7, we have the Knockouts World Champion Ariana Grace. Somebody who's more so just getting started, right? New persona as of recent, new heel persona when she turned on her father, Santino Marella, and now the Knockouts World Champion. And I think that she is going to have an effective 2026 and continue to build herself as a cornerstone of TNA's Knockouts division. Number 6, we have the newly crowned AEW World Trios Champions, Mystico and Jet Speed. Now, this is a fun team that is simply going to show up to work and entertain us as they defend those AEW World Trios titles. Very excited to see what comes of Mystico and Jet Speed defending their titles on Dynamite, on Collision, on pay-per-views. Nothing but good fun, nothing but fantastic bell-to-bell action continually is in store for us with Mystico and Jet Speed as the AEW World Trios Champions. We get to number 5 here. Cracking the top 5 is the Women's North American Champion, Tatum Paxley. Tatum Paxley is a wrestler that has been patient, that has learned from every success and failure that she has been a part of in NXT. And she recently defended the Women's North American Championship against Izzy Dame, who has been a pretty big rival for her as of recent in a steel cage match in what was freaking awesome. And now what awaits her and what awaits the future of the Women's North American Championship is Blake Monroe. Tatum Paxley is so fantastic as the centerpiece of NXT's women's mid-card division, which has been consistently amazing for years at this point. And I'm just so happy for Tatum Paxley. It didn't feel like NXT capitalized on her winning the NXT Women's Championship just a few months ago. But it feels like she's in the right place now as the Women's North American Champion. And it feels like the division benefits from her being there, and it feels like the title benefits from being around her waist. So she cracks the top 5 in the top 20 champions of wrestling, and I look forward to seeing her booked consistently this year. At number 4, we actually have the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Champion, Konosuke Takeshita. Konosuke Takeshita started off 2026 by losing the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship to Yota Tsuji. And ultimately, it's been seeming bleak for Konosuke Takeshita. He's got troubles in AEW as he can't seem to defeat Jon Moxley. He's got troubles as a part of the Don Callis family. But in New Japan, he recently won the World Television Championship. And he has been defending the title. He will continue to defend the title. Anything that New Japan Pro Wrestling has given Konosuke Takeshita has turned into gold. And now the NJPW World Television Championship will do the same and has done the same so far. Number 4 champion in the world of wrestling, Konosuke Takeshita, New Japan World Television Champion. And we get to the top 3 here. We get to the podium. At number 3, we have the Continental Champion of AEW, Jon Moxley. It's crazy to think that in November, in October, in September of 2025, Jon Moxley had just come off what was considered by many, including myself, as a lackluster AEW World Championship reign. After his reign, he was booked pretty poorly. He was tapping out a lot. He was losing a lot. But when it came to the Continental Classic, which is a tournament, a round-robin tournament, right, that AEW closes each calendar year with, Jon Moxley found a new aura to personify, more so as a baby face this time, right? He was a snarly heel for years as the AEW World Champion, and now he's unofficially back to being a babyface, and he is a fighting champion as he won the 2025 Continental Classic and became the Continental Champion by defeating Kazuchika Okada in the final of that tournament. And I gotta say, people have every single reason to hate on the booking of Jon Moxley in late 2025, all the way up to the Continental Championship. But nobody does, because Jon Moxley is being his genuine self out there. Jon Moxley is walking to the ring with the energy that he possesses, and he is defending the Continental Championship on Dynamite, on Collision, on pay-per-view at a high level, making that title mean something. Not that it didn't mean something already. It absolutely did. But Jon Moxley is, not only does he deserve to be in the position he's in right now over at AEW, but he's doing some great things with it. And he's not exactly reinventing the wheel. He is simply going out there and defending his title, knowing what works and knowing what doesn't work after all of his reps in AEW and all that came before in terms of reps for him. So he locks himself in at the number 3 spot in the top 20 champions of wrestling. And it's a feel-good story, right? It's a feel-good story because it really felt like Jon Moxley was getting the short end of the stick there for a minute. No longer. I think he's doing great, and I think this is the character that we should see Jon Moxley personify for the rest of his career. He can easily be a heel. He can easily be a babyface. He's just himself. That's what I love right now, is they're not trying to do too much with Jon Moxley, and it's working. And this is absolutely a situation where you'd think that fans are tired of seeing Jon Moxley hold a belt, but they're not. They finally found what works for Jon Moxley. It feels like AEW was searching for this version of Jon Moxley for years, and they finally found it. And it's beautiful. It's amazing. Let's get into number 2 here in the top 20 champions of wrestling, the World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk, who has a WrestleMania match set against Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania. Not much I could say here, you know. If you've been listening to my content or listening to my show for a while, you know I'm not the biggest CM Punk guy. I used to be, but honestly, yeah, there are other wrestlers that I respect and appreciate more than CM Punk, and I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. I know there's a lot of people that feel the way I do. If you're not one of those people, that's fine. What I can say now, with that being said, is CM Punk has been a fantastic World Heavyweight Champion. CM Punk has taken the legitimacy of the World Heavyweight Championship and taken it to the next level. All right? It's the truth. It's the truth. CM Punk has been a fighting champion. CM Punk has created good feuds with Finn Balor and now with Roman Reigns. And ultimately, if he does defeat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, listen, I doubt it, but if he does, good for him. He's doing really good work, all right? And when you put your money where your mouth is and you deliver the way that CM Punk has been delivering, it makes it hard to critique the sins of his past. And instead, I've just been enjoying the fruits of his labor in WWE. He has built himself up to this position, and he is absolutely in a position where he can rest on his laurels as World Heavyweight Champion. But he hasn't been doing that. He's been defending the title, which is awesome. I know CM Punk is fragile about being called old, but let's call a spade a spade. CM Punk is old, but CM Punk is working the schedule like he's in his freaking prime. which I freaking respect. This is a guy that I lost a lot of respect for. And this is a guy that has earned my respect once again, which is beautiful, which is fantastic. I look forward to the main event of WrestleMania, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. My goodness, it's even better than I thought it was going to be. I knew we were going to get this match. I knew it. We were going to get it at some point. I didn't expect it to be this good, where Roman Reigns is at the top of his game, as he usually is, and CM Punk has just taken things to a next level when it comes to the World Heavyweight Championship, when it comes to being a champion, when it comes to being an old champion at that. I'm not even trying to throw shade. CM Punk is an elderly fella, but he is wrestling like he's in his freaking late 20s, which, my goodness, man, I respect. It's always interesting when a wrestler or a superstar makes mistakes, loses the respect of the fan and me, of course, and then is able to put the work in and gain it back. And we are at that point where he has gained it back. And I look forward to everything that he's going to do with the rest of his career in WWE. I do. All right, you got me. Good work. Good work, Punk. And number 1 in the top 20 champions of wrestling list. Now, just know, I went back and forth between number 2 and number 1 a lot. A lot. The number 1 champion in wrestling right now is the AEW World Champion MJF. Goodness gracious. MJF has been incredible, taking the AEW World Championship beyond the walls of AEW, taking it to House of Glory, taking it to other indie shows, and entering into a Texas death match with Hangman Adam Page in the first pay-per-view of the year for AEW to retain the AEW World Championship in what was a crazy-ass match. This AEW World Championship division right now is on freaking fire, and there is no better person to lead it than MJF. MJF is the prodigy, man. MJF is the guy that Cody Rhodes was trying to build up in AEW, that CM Punk was trying to build up in AEW, and we are barely entering a point where MJF is becoming everything that he can be. The first AEW World Championship reign was solid, okay? He was a heel for the first half of it before he became a babyface for the second half of it, and it was good fun. But this MJF AEW World Championship reign right now is money, and we're just getting started. He's the most exciting, most prominent, most prestigious champion in the world of wrestling right now. And let me tell you, man, it is very close between him and CM Punk. It is very close. It is very close. And I'm sure Cody Rhodes will re-enter this list soon enough. He's just getting started there. He's just getting started. All right. That's it. That's the top 20 champions of wrestling. That's an episode. This has been the Wrestling is Bullshit podcast. We'll talk to you next week. We're on the road to WrestleMania. And we're having a good time. Keep having a good time, fellas. One step at a time. Be good, be happy. We will talk soon. Peace.